Kargil always to all 4Gs brings a mixed bag of emotions. One is of an extreme pride that we were able to evict the unwanted invaders who came into our sites, but also a deep sense of sorrow and loss to a lot of colleagues that you broke bread with.
Maulana Fazlur Rehman, he said that Pakistan never released the names of many soldiers who were killed in Kargil. They never took back their bodies, refused to sort of say that these are our people.
मैं तुम्हें जानता हूं कि तुम्हारे नजर में अपने शहीद की क्या कदर कीमत है। क्या बता सकते हो? आज तक कौम को तुमने बताया कि कारगिल में आपके कितने जवान शहीद हुए और आपने वहां से कितने शुहदा के जनाजे वसूल किए, जरा बताओ तो सही।
We have known it all along. They have known it all along. First of all, they kept hiding for a very long while that there were no Pakistani regular army soldiers who were participating. They always claimed it was, which is typically the Pakistani trick. You will never say that it is the regular army.
How many soldiers are we talking about?
We are talking about many because Kargil, who really left from those heights? Eventually, most of them died behind boulders and everything. So we are talking hundreds here. We are talking hundreds to whom burial was given by the Indian army. And Pakistani army never claimed. Now things are coming out in the open. Asim Munir right now is at a very weak wicket. A strong and a weak wicket. He's on a strong wicket. If he just continues to slaughter his people like the way he's doing in Balochistan and POK and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and on a weak wicket, because the moment these people get together, I'm sure he's keeping his baggage packed somewhere.
This running with the, or hunting with the hound and running with the hare strategy, yes. Iran and Saudi, trying to be with both of them and being useful to both of them, clearly is now come home to roost.
The moment they come into the battle directly with the Saudi, they have their flanks open. They're badly exposed. They share a border. Saudi still sits on the other side. They share a border with them. And that is a border on which you have Shias on this side.
We are joined by someone who's seen conflict up close, both on India's borders and in some of the world's most volatile war zones. Viewers, today joining us is Major Sudeep Singh. He's a geopolitical commentator, a former Indian Army officer and a UN peacekeeper whose service actually spans Jammu and Kashmir, Northeast, UNIFIL in Lebanon, yes. And during Israel's historic withdrawal from the South Lebanon. And today we're going to talk to him about a host of issues about our neighbor. But because it's Kargil Divas, I want to start with 27 years after Kargil. Why is Pakistan, and I don't know whether you've seen the Maulana Fazlur Rehman's recent comments.
Yes.
Why is Pakistan still discussing Kargil?
Jai Hind, Aditi, and to everybody else on the show. A small tribute to people who are not. Kargil always to all 4Gs brings a mixed bag of emotions. One is of an extreme pride that we were able to evict the unwanted invaders who came into our sites, but also a deep sense of sorrow and loss to a lot of colleagues that you broke bread with. So yes, a remembrance to all the friends that I lost in the Kargil War. And yes, chest swelled with pride on Kargil Day. Yes, so Pakistan is like the proverbial dog's tail. It will always come back to the normal situation, which is they have to speak about something and they will keep bringing India into the story. They will keep bringing Kargil into the story all the time. So you cannot really fault them there. That is the bread and butter. And that is what keeps you politically alive there. And that is what keeps that country ticking. If you do not speak India, there is very little to speak about.
True. And Maulana Fazlur Rehman, he said that Pakistan never released the names of many soldiers who were killed in Kargil. They never took back their bodies, refused to sort of say that these are our people. What does it mean for Asim Munir, who's now Field Marshal, when somebody like Maulana Fazlur Rehman says something like this?
Absolutely true. We have known it all along. They have known it all along. First of all, they kept hiding for a very long while that there were no Pakistani regular army soldiers who were participating. They always claimed it was, which is typically the Pakistani trick. You will never say that it is a regular army. Started in 1948 and they continued thereafter. Pakistan not claiming that it was their own people is also not new. That the Indian army gave them a very Muslim burial in all the best possible manner that any decent professional army can, was given, which is something that Pakistani themselves have made a note of. I think his name was Captain Colonel Khan something, Colonel Sher Khan, who was one of the captains who we offered to give the dead body back to, and they refused to take him. Did they not know it was one of their soldiers? And eventually, this whole thing came out. Everybody came to know about it. The parents of that young officer of Pakistan, they came in front of the media and they opened the story. So yes, all this is true. They they never bothered to take their bodies back. And secondly,
how many soldiers are we talking about?
we are talking about many, because Kargil, who really left from those heights, eventually most of them died behind boulders and everything. So we are talking hundreds here. We are talking hundreds to whom burial was given by the Indian army, and Pakistani army never claimed. Now things are coming out in the open, and that is why you hear somebody like a Fazlur Rehman, who's been he's been shifting from this side to that side, this side, that side. But yes, and you were saying overall, you were saying admission after admission from Pakistani. If you listen to Khwaja Asif, the defense minister, and everybody, they all are making admission after admission about what they have done in the past. Sometimes they will turn around and say, yes, we have done this because we were forced by the US. Yes, we have done this. These statements will keep pouring out. One, because the country is in a turmoil. And second, they are also weighing up their political chances because they know Asim Munir right now is at a very weak wicket. A strong and a weak wicket. He's on a strong wicket. If he just continues to slaughter his people like the way he's doing in Balochistan and POK and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and on a weak wicket, because the moment these people get together, I'm sure he's keeping his baggage packed somewhere.
Baggage packed, like all people who, but it's not normal to see the army chiefs turning tail and running away from the country. It's mostly the civilian prime ministers who have to flee.
No,
Pakistan.
why Musharraf?
Yeah, of course.
Musharraf was out of the country. Pakistan has a history of it. So many of them, even the last one who died, where did he settle? He settled in Dubai. So they all know that if they continue to stay in Pakistan after their stints, there is every possibility. Musharraf, the architect of Kargil War, the kind of death he received, one, exiled from Pakistan. He always continued to claim, I've done a great job for Pakistan in the Kargil War. But how did he die? Where did he die and how did he die? What did Pakistan give him in return? Obviously, he did not deserve to get anything in return after trying all his shenanigans. And
yeah, but one would think at least his own people would sort of stand by him.
But they did not stand. See, the politician has never stood by the general, and the general, and in this case, the fake marshals have never stood by the politicians or the normal people. These are all zamindars who are looking after their own interests. That's all they are.
Let's just circle back to Asim Munir, and Asim Munir talking about, you said that he's on his weakest wicket. One would think that after all his flights to US and Tehran and Washington and where have you, and the deal that he supposedly brokered, that sort of had lifted Pakistan's stature
Stature.
a little in the diplomatic circles, and with the peacemakers, we got the US steel, there's the Islamabad MOU, everyone in that country went to town with that
Yes.
narrative. And 4 weeks later, here we are, the war is back on again, and now there are the Houthis who directly threaten Saudi,
Saudi Arabia now,
who
yes.
have a defense pact with Pakistan. So instead of mediator, is Pakistan now is actively appearing to be part of the war?
Yes, it is. So two parts to your question. One, international standing, Pakistan. Asim Munir specifically and Pakistan, yes, you have international standing, but that is not what is going to keep you power in Pakistan. That is not what is going to take grudges of the Pakistani people away from the siyasaddans, the hukmarans, which is what these people are. So when an Asim Munir in the international arena is getting a good boy certificate, all he's getting is a license to kill his own people, which is exactly what he has done in Balochistan. The way they're just wiping off an entire generation, if your women have taken to the hills in Balochistan, you can understand where it has reached. That happened with the Kurds, where Peshmerga, the women had to pick up weapons because they just did not have men left. And that is how they fought that war. That's exactly what he's doing in POK. A firm hand, a hand that is just slaughtering his own people without any count. So because of his international legitimacy, what he's doing unto his own people, this is a spiral. Nobody forgets the death of a family member or a person that you have known. You keep killing and you will keep creating more.
But where is the international legitimacy? The war he supposedly, or
So
the
that-
deal
yeah.
he supposedly brokered is now in a shambles.
That deal, I would still say it has parts. Last time at your show itself, what I had said was that there is the people that they were talking to at that point in time. My strong understanding of that was that a broad framework was arrived at with a set of people that they were talking to. So that time, the three names from the Irani side that you were hearing was Galibaf, the speaker, Pezeshkian, the president, and the foreign minister,
Arakchi.
Arakchi. So these three were the names that you were repeatedly hearing, and that's what Trump was saying again and again, that the people we are talking to. Now, do you hear the names?
No.
No. You're hearing a different set of names, which means that the people that the Pakistanis were talking to are not the ones who are in control. The control has probably gone back to IRGC, that to a faction of IRGC, led by this Brigadier General Wahidi, who seems to be the person who's calling the shots in the name of Mustafa Khamenei, who's not to be seen. So that thing seems to have come true, which is something Pakistanis never catered for. They were just speaking to a set of people. That set of people also were speaking to them grudgingly, because they knew that Saudi's bidding was being done by Pakistan, which is how, as the cards unfold, that's exactly, nobody at any point in time was ready to trust the Pakistanis. And why and how? They are the same people who slaughtered the Palestinians. And now you are saying that a Pakistani general is going to look after the good cause of Palestinians? Your previous president, Ziaul Haq, was the one who ordered the murder of the Black September thing that unfolded in Palestine, with so many hundreds and thousands of Palestinians killed at the behest of a Pakistani officer. Would the Palestinians ever trust them? But you had a Pakistani standing again saying, oh, we are friends. No, the world will not fall for these kind of tricks again and again. So even that time, a Pakistani mediation was hollow. It did not have enough substance. In fact, I have a slight bit of a different theory also around it. Pakistan itself had they had their skin in the game. Iran does not only have these etches of Hezbollah, Hamas, and Houthis and everything. There is also an organization that sits in Pakistanis, which is Shia Muslims,
Right.
which can be unleashed at whatever point the Iranis give them a signal to. These are people who are battle hardened, who have fought in Syria, who have fought alongside the Hezbollah, who has fought alongside the Hamas. And they are sitting today in the POK inside Pakistan. So Pakistan is very well aware of it, that Iran holds the cards not only to topple their own side of agreement, but also can be extremely harmful for Pakistan.
And create domestic unrest.
Domestic unrest, yes.
Which is already at its peak in any case.
Yes.
Afghanistan, the TTP rebels pushing from one side.
Baloch.
The Baloches, and what's happening in POK, and of course, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. But I just want to come back to Asim Munir, that strongman image that he had, just till about 3-4, which he's been trying to build ever since, going to Washington, Oval Office, trying to portray himself as the guy in Pakistan. And even that image, is that now starting to take a beating after this whole deal with the US has come unraveled? The situation inside Pakistan has come to such a knot?
See, a lot of people, even at that time, were just calling him a Dakia. He still is a Dakia. There was a lot of other agencies which were doing the back channel talking. These were just the faces.
The Qataris, for instance.
Yes, the Omanis to start with, and then the Qatar people. So these were the people who actually were more trustworthy to the Iranis than the Pakistanis. And Iranis have always made it clear that we have difficulty trusting these guys. A shared border, a history of Pakistan trying to sabotage what Iran was doing. So it's not easy to trust somebody like Pakistan, whereas it was easier to trust somebody like Qatar or Oman. So that Aristotle's maxim, messenger is the message. So you had to project somebody like Asim Munir as a strong messenger. If I come to you as a strong messenger, boss, nuclear bomb bhi hai, ye bhi maar dunga, and this also I can do, this also can do. So that was trying to put a little bit of pressure on the Iranis that if I make these people sit on the other side along with the Saudis, you will have bigger problems and everything. So it was just the messaging of the messenger, or rather the facade that the makeup that you did on the messenger to make him look like a dreaded bouncer or something. That is what was being done. He did not have a strong wicket to bat on even at that time. It was just that the West had to project him that way. And now that the deal has unraveled, now that everything has come down falling, yes, everything has now become more and more visible that there never was any base level understanding between these two people. He was just, if you were ever looking at the face of Shehbaz Sharif when he's...
Okay, right. I hear you without you saying anything, but just tell me something. Since we're talking about West Asia and the situation of Pakistan now, do you feel now after the Houthis blockade, the naval blockade against Saudi, with which they just signed a defense pact last year?
Yes.
And you saw the Pakistani Foreign Office statement, which they gave yesterday, that we will have no option if you strike any Pakistani flagged vessels, and that's where they're scared because Hormuz route is anyway shut down, and if the Red Sea route,
Bab
el Mandeb, if that shuts down, their oil supplies become problematic because they are dependent on a lot of oil from the Saudi. So this running with or hunting with the hound and running with the hare strategy, Iran and Saudi, trying to be with both of them and being useful to both of them, clearly is now come home to roost. Do you think now they're actually going to be dragged into this war given their defense pact?
So see, these are the things which actually expose their duplicity. When the war broke out, at that time also Pakistan had the same agreement with the Saudis.
Yeah.
Did they step out to support them?
No.
They did not. They waited until the war started to appear to be settling down. And that is the time they started tom-tomming again. Oh, yes, we are friends to the Saudis and everything. Saudis probably wanted them then. They did not. They just kept, dilly-dallying the whole thing. When the first set of ceasefire announcements came out, that is the time they went and sat with the Saudi. Now they're in the same flux again. See, their thing is to come across to the Islamic world as their saviors, that we are the only nuclear capable and the professional army people of the Islamic world, the Ummah. So that is the kind of image they're projecting. The moment they come into the battle directly with the Saudi, they have their flanks open. They're badly, badly exposed. They share a border. Saudi still sits on the other side. They share a border with them. And that is a border on which you have Shias on this side. And that opens a huge number of equations with a lot of people, including India, because that's also our route to navigate into Afghanistan and everything. So
Right.
I have my serious doubts that things, if they go south, if they go further south from here, Pakistan committing its troops for the sake of Saudi against the Houthis or something, no, because that immediately angers Iran, that immediately opens up another flank. For Iran, it's very easy
Yeah,
to
but
just...
then that's a catch-22 for Asim Munir again, because they're a bankrupt economy. Every time they need a bailout, Saudi is there in terms of, whatever they want to, they want money, they want oil,
They
want
are on the
whatever.
table. They are on the
They're
table
on the
already
table.
with the bowl.
Exactly. So how does that even work?
So they're good at it. That much you have to grant to the devil. They were the only ones, Yahya Khan speaking to Nixon and then to China at the same time. They have done it now. Even now, they're speaking to China and the US together. Only people in the world. So they have somehow been able to manage that balance. And the hope that the Pakistanis, their hope right now kind of aligns with the hope of the world, because once again, if this situation deteriorates, then again, the whole world wants this war to end immediately, because the fuel supply and the energy equations go topsy-turvy, especially if the Red Sea route gets blocked once this time
Yeah,
because of the
yeah.
Houthis. And then there is also sufficient indication that in the last 9 days, the kind of casualties the US has taken, the kind of infrastructure damage the US has caused on the remnants of the missile bases or the industrial capacity that the Iranians were using for their missile launches or for the drone capability, drone manufacturing capabilities and everything, has been severely degraded. That is probably something which Mr. Munir is actively banking on. But yes, to answer your original questions, I seriously have my doubts that Pakistan is going to fight on behalf, against the Houthis. No, that's not where Pakistan
That's
is.
showing a red flag
It's
and calling for Iran to take some direct crazy action
yes,
against them.
because Iran has already made its intent very clear. If it has not made no compunctions about attacking UAE, Saudi, Kuwait, Jordan, they have attacked almost
Then they can do it
everybody.
for Pakistan too.
So what stops them from doing the same to Pakistan?
True. The learnings will come. Do you think Asim Munir, facing what he is facing today, choked from multiple sides, facing a lot of internal battles as well as external ones with Iran and Saudi and whatever have you, is that this harboring of terrorism inside Pakistani borders, is that something that you see this country giving up for IWT, for its internal situation, for its growth, whatever?
Pakistan has perfected the tool of terrorism. For them to give up terrorism so easily, and especially after they have gotten a bloodied nose in Operation Sindoor, for them, there was a lull for a very longish time, not just because of Pakistan, but also because, on one hand, it was the Indian Armed Forces and the CAPF, which was doing a fantastic job in Kashmir to keep terrorism out. So so for a longish time, we have not heard of terrorist cases, incidents coming up in Kashmir and in other parts of India as well, because they were on the mat through all the diplomatic posturing and positioning of India, where we told the whole world that this is a terrorist country. So yes, they were on the mat, and you were not hearing much from them. But after Op Sindoor, where they have, where the realization has dawned upon them that conventionally India can put them on the mat. So now for them to fall back to terrorism becomes more of a lucrative option, because that is something that they have done in the past.
So you think
But-
they're becoming more dangerous for us?
The launch pads have started coming up again. The rhetoric has started again. So all those things, it's just that what works to our advantage is that economically and making India prosperous, whether it is Kashmir, whether it is the northeast of India, which were parts of the nation which were previously not being so well looked after. Now they see the advantage of being with India. So it's not at the behest of Pakistan that we will succeed as India, as a prosperous India all round, but because of our own efforts. But it will always be that desire with Pakistanis to somehow revive terrorism. So it can go either way. One is it works on. See, there is one more important piece into it. We have heard Pakistan on a lot of fronts, but Punjab still not. But you have to understand that Pakistan gets hurt only when Punjab of Pakistan gets hurt. That is where the power center is. The zamindars of Punjab, of Pakistan, are the ones who really call the shots. These are the people, if they feel the pinch, then Mr. Asim Munir, that fake marshal, will also feel the pinch. That's bound to happen. And they will feel the pinch of it, or even the paranoia or the fear of their waters being stopped, because most of these zamindars have got swathes of land where they're doing their paddy and the maize and cotton cultivation. These are the money bags, and this is also where your terrorist nerve center is also sitting. So yes, that pressure is bound to come onto them, and for good measure. I don't know why we are still being such a good neighbor. Thoda sa to sluices ko band karke na pani rokna chahiye. Give them a feel of it. You see, if you go back to when the Indus Water Treaty was signed, it was because India, because of the technical reasons, had stopped water for 17 days.
Yeah.
Because the legal framework required Pakistan and India to sit together and come to an agreement how waters will be shared. So you closed it then for 17 days, and Pakistan came running. I think this time round also we should at least give them a nice taste of it. Right now, they have the fear, but we have not given them a taste of it. Now the monsoons have come, but
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And I think you just overshot our time. My producers are telling me that we continued far too long, but thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to be here with you also. Thank you.
Thank you.